Now know in this particular world that we're all living in, apparently it's very ageist. We've reported on it numerous times here on the channel, and I like to share these stories with you, as I pointed out recently with the cafes that now are refusing to take cash. It's the older generation that pop out for a cup of tea, a bit of company and a slice of cake that normally have cash. They manage their money better. They don't live on plastic. And of course, at the end of the month, they normally have some money free to spend. But the bottom line is, retailers simply don't want that. They don't care about you. They just want people to splash the plastic. And that's the reason why you see a lack of service, and more importantly, forced out, when really we should be embracing our older, more senior, more wiser generation. But now it's not just at retail and those sort of things, it's actually hitting very hard, even if you are, shall we say, a pop star of a certain vintage. As ever, let me explain. Hi, good morning. Nice to see you. Hope you're well. Let's have a wave today. Absolutely. Now, this particular pop star, I have to say, I do know her very well myself. She's been making hits since way back of 1987, when she recorded a cover of the brilliant Locomotion. We're talking about the superstar, pint-sized pop star, of course, Kylie Minogue. Now, recently, she came back with a brand new album, which is set to be released in, I think, about a month or two's time. But she came back with a fabulous new single, Padam. Very sexy, very dark video, but looking eternally youthful, as only Kylie can. And what's been interesting, it's been some time since Kylie's dented the top 10, and I don't mean that unkindly, but in the world that we live in now, it's very hard to break into the charts. It's not like in our day when you went out and bought the album, queued up at WH Smith's, Timothy White's, Boots. Do you remember all those places that sold records, and hoped to get a picture back, and maybe even a coloured vinyl? Who remembers those? But Kylie, you see, has battled on and come back with an absolutely cracking new track. Now, what's interesting here is the track managed to get into the top 10. That's right. Not bad, is it, for a lady over 50 who still looks fabulous? But the BBC over here, BBC Radio 1, the official chart station, decided to, well, include every single track in the playdown apart from Kylie Minogue. Shocking when you think, because it would have made perfect sense to include it in, but apparently they didn't have time. This now sparked off a big debate about ageism and whether, of course, that particular channel would or should be playing artists over 50. Now, the bottom line is their argument will be that they have BBC Radio 2, and on that she would be playlisted, meaning she gets so many spins per day. But isn't it strange to think that even though she's making, some might say, the best music of her career, or at least the last few years, that one of the major radio stations over here in the United Kingdom, owned and funded by the British public, BBC Radio 1, are refusing to play it. And let's not forget, of course, it's the public who put Kylie Minogue into the top 10. So by not including her, they're basically saying, stuff you and me too. They're not going to play it. As ever, I'd love to know what you think to this particular story. Are they right or are they wrong? Should there be a place for certain individual music? And in this digital platforms, does it really matter? But if you were Kylie and you knew that you were going to be in the top 10 and you were listening to that channel, I'm sure there must have been a little bit of hurt. I'm sure you'll agree. Do let me know what you think to this particular story, as ever, in the comments below. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.